Hans Niemann has filed $100 million lawsuit against Carlsen, Magnus Carlsen, the world champion, along with four others. Play Magnus Group, Chess.com, the founder of Chess.com, Daniel Rensch, and Hikaru Nakamura. So you can see that it was filed just a few hours back, October 20, 2022. And the case has been opened. It is under the jurisdiction of Missouri District Court. And as you can see here, the case has also been opened. Magnus Carlsen, Play Magnus Group, Chess.com, Daniel Rensch, and Hikaru Nakamura. So the chess world is getting ready for some big drama in the coming days. It's $100 million lawsuit for the damages of his reputation and his future. So let us see what the lawsuit is about and what are the evidences and accusations made by Hans Niemann and his legal team. The lawsuit filed by Hans Niemann and his legal team is right here. There are three parts to this lawsuit. The first 6 pages are like an intro where they set the scene. The last few pages are the conclusion. In the middle part, they basically mention all the facts and the actual accusations made against Hans Niemann and the evidence or the insinuations as such. So let's first see the first part. As you can see, these are the defendants. Plaintiff is Hans Niemann. The defendants, you can see right here. There are three individuals here: Magnus Carlsen, Daniel Rensch, and Hikaru Nakamura. And there are two companies. One is Play Magnus and Chess.com. Now, the nature of the action. So they basically state the reason and they set the scene regarding the lawsuit. The first part is Niemann. Who's Niemann? He's a 19-year-old self-taught chess prodigy. And then the history, what he has done so far, and the chess is Niemann's life, and all that. They also mention who the defendant is, Magnus Carlsen, then Play Magnus, and the incident, which is September 4, 2022. Niemann soundly defeated Carlsen during an in-person game at the prestigious Sinfield Cup chess tournament in St. Louis, Missouri. So the litigation is going to happen in Missouri because most of the events that are related to the accusations happened in Missouri. So they basically say that this was not the first time Niemann beat Carlsen at chess, but notorious for his ability to cope with defeat, Carlsen snapped and then accused Niemann of wrongdoing, of cheating. And then they mentioned that Carlsen, along with his team, also colluded to damage the reputation of Hans Niemann. Those who are following the chess news would know that days later, Carlsen was scheduled to play Niemann again, but then he withdrew. As in, he withdrew from the Sinfield Cup, and then from this tournament, he just resigned against Hans Niemann after 2 moves, basically strengthening the accusations. So the result has been that a flurry of independent and unbiased sources, defamatory accusations, including tournament organizers and arbiters of Sinfield Cup, have confirmed that there is no evidence that Niemann has cheated. So basically, the reason why this lawsuit has been put is because there have been accusations of cheating, and Hans Niemann has already admitted to cheating online, but there has been no evidence of him cheating in an over-the-board tournament. Any over the board tournament, and he has vehemently denied any such allegation. So this is where the lawsuit comes in and the substantial nature of this lawsuit. So this is an important part. The defendant's malicious defamation and unlawful collusion has destroyed Niemann's remarkable career in its prime and ruined his life. As a result of Play Magnus and Chess.com's collusion to blacklist him from chess, Niemann can no longer compete in any online Chess.com or Play Magnus tournaments and will not receive any invitations to in-person events sponsored by Chess.com or Play Magnus, which collectively comprise a majority of FIDE-sanctioned chess tournaments. And as proof to what was just mentioned, Chess.com Global Championship revoked Niemann's invitation. Teenage Grandmaster Vincent Kiemer was supposed to play him, but then it was cancelled by Kiemer. The Tata Steel tournament, the organizers have ceased any communication with Hans Niemann. So already these things have happened because of the damage to Hans Niemann's reputation without any proof. And they also mentioned that Niemann cannot obtain employment as a chess teacher at a reputable school. So now they mention the parties, which are 6. One is the plaintiff and the 5 defendants. It's funny that he has passionately included Hikaru Nakamura in the suit, because Hikaru was one of the main factors in this issue becoming more dramatic and it being more hateful, the whole chess world being more hateful towards Hans, because Hikaru in his streams showed suspicion and insinuated that there has been cheating, and there were a lot of streams by Hikaru accusing Niemann of wrongdoing, of cheating. And now we come to the main part of the lawsuit, the facts. They mentioned it under facts, and it goes from A to K, I believe. In the A part, they mentioned the key players and their roles. First is FIDE. So it's like an introduction to who FIDE is and what they do. So just for people or the jury who is not familiar with how FIDE works, it's like an introduction. So let us go to the second key player, chess.com and its economic dominance in the chess world. So chess.com has been the most important player in the chess world economically and by numbers. So you can see here, through a series of acquisitions, chess.com has become by far the world's largest and most popular online chess company. Chess.com currently has more than 90 million members who play over 10 million online chess games in its website. This is more than 3 times the number of games hosted by the next largest website, leechess.org, which is free and open source. Now, the third player in all of this, chess.com's chief chess officer, Daniel Rensch. They mentioned who he is, and he's the public face of chess.com and a well-known figure in the chess world. The fourth, Carlsen and his company Play Magnus. So they mentioned when Carlsen founded Play Magnus, after chess.com, this is the second most dominant commercial enterprise in chess. In 2019, Play Magnus acquired the chess website chess24 and chessable.com. In 2020, they expanded further by acquiring the US website iChess.net. And in 2021, Play Magnus acquired the Dutch magazine New in Chess and the publisher Everyman Chess. So they're basically establishing that chess.com and Play Magnus especially have basically cornered the full financial chess world for themselves. So they have this immense power to do what they want. So this is the image they want to show the jury. Now the last key player, chess.com streamer Hikaru Nakamura. So they mentioned chess.com streamer, but Hikaru is mainly like working on his own, YouTube and Twitch. But in chess.com, you will see Hikaru as a main figure. Like when Hikaru plays, you will get a notification. So Nakamura is by far chess.com's most popular streaming partner, with nearly 1 million followers on chess.com. So these are the players, and then Niemann as well. They also mentioned who Niemann is and his life history. So the main part is at the age of 17, he became a grandmaster. He is an American chess prodigy, they say. He got a scholarship thanks to his chess skills at the age of 16. And then they also mentioned he has been playing a record number of games in 2021 and has steadily climbed FIDE's ranks. And now the B part. In the A part, they mentioned the key players in the lawsuit in all of the incidents. The B part is chess.com's merger with Play Magnus. So this was a big event in the chess world, because after this merger between the two main companies in the chess world, they have complete monopoly over everything. In August 2022, just before Niemann's victory against Carlsen in the Sinquefield Cup, Play Magnus and chess.com announced that Play Magnus accepted an offer to be acquired by chess.com for approximately 83 million. This was announced by Rensch and Carlsen in a video. So while Niemann defeated Carlsen at the Sinquefield Cup. Carlsen and Chess.com were in the midst of negotiations. So this is important. So they want to establish that they were colluding with themselves to damage his reputation, and they have the power to do that. Now the C part, Niemann surprise upset. So the game where Niemann defeated Magnus Carlsen. So the third round of the Sinfield Cup took place on September 4, 2022. So he was an underdog, was Niemann, and he defeated Carlsen. So, so they also explained how the game went. Niemann attacked, and Carlsen made numerous mistakes upon which Niemann capitalized to secure a tremendous victory. So Niemann not only beat Carlsen, Niemann embarrassed Carlsen by defeating him with the black pieces and playfully taunting him. So if you remember, Niemann in his interviews had mentioned chess speaks for itself and all of that. So that's what they mention here. They mention it as playfully taunting him, not arrogance, not overconfidence, just a playful taunting. So he also shattered Carlsen's historic 53-game unbeaten streak and made it practically impossible for Carlsen to ever achieve a 2900 FIDE performance rating. It's not exactly performance rating, it's FIDE rating, I believe. Yeah, that they should have mentioned. But how is it making it practically impossible? Carlsen can still play. Just one game that would have cost Carlsen like 20 points. That's it. So this seems like not really true. It seems like an exaggeration. Now, the next part of the incident, Carlsen responds by falsely and baselessly accusing Niemann of cheating. So they also show the tweet where Carlsen, not directly but indirectly, accuses Niemann. But there is no mention of Hans Niemann anywhere in the tweet, but it was understood in the chess world that Carlsen was talking about Hans Niemann. Because right before this withdrawal from the tournament, Carlsen had lost to Hans Niemann. So the two events had to be linked. That was obvious. So they mentioned that Carlsen knew that the sudden, unnecessary, and unexplained implementation of these new anti-cheating measures would be interpreted by the chess community and the public to mean that the tournament operators had a legitimate basis to believe that one or some of its players had cheated. So it seems Carlsen had asked the organizers to dramatically enhance the anti-cheating measures at the Sinfield Cup. Then he announced that he had withdrawn. So that is where he posted the Twitter post. So Carlsen knew full well that withdrawing in the middle of a prestigious, high-profile professional chess tournament like the Sinfield Cup is virtually unheard of for any top player. And as Carlsen intended, the chess world and public at large received Carlsen's defamatory message loud and clear that there's something going on. Did Hans Niemann actually cheat? So that was the next incident. Now, Carlsen enlisted his new business partner Chess.com and co-conspirator Nakamura. Nakamura would be surprised when he wakes up. Or is it already like daytime over there? I believe it is afternoon over there in USA where Nakamura is. So he would be really surprised. He has been mentioned as a co-conspirator, the poor guy. And after Carlsen succeeded in laying the groundwork against Niemann with his initial accusations, he unleashed the full force of his newly broadened media empire to publicly bolster those allegations and drown out any legitimate sources of opposition. So he and the team basically mentioned that Carlsen, combined with Chess.com and Nakamura, just launched a smear campaign against Hans. So Nakamura's YouTube video right after the Carlsen withdrawal from the Sinfield Cup, September 5, 2022, was really accusatory of nature. So you can see a few statements that Nakamura made in that video. So you can see here, I have heard from a lot of different chess players in regard to Niemann's over-the-board shots. Now, obviously not going to say names, but these people I know, these are people I know, these are people I respect, very prominent people. I heard about this directly from someone in St. Louis, one of the players doing the Rapid Blitz, who said that they're basically certain that Hans has done something, and then Magnus withdraws from the tournament, so it's very, very strange. So he also trashes Hans Niemann's analysis. He says it's not 2,700 level analysis. This is not 2,700 level analysis. Like Alejandro's outplaying him, the interviewer, basically. So This was still speculation from Nakamura, but it still did some damage to. It did a lot of damage to Hans Niemann's reputation. So it's understandable that Nakamura was included in the lawsuit. The next part, F. Defendants continue to defame Niemann after another match with Carlsen. So now, after the withdrawal from the Sinquefield Cup, Carlsen also resigned against Niemann in two moves in the Julius Baer Generation Cup. This basically introduced the drama again. People had almost forgotten that something had happened, and now again the fire had been lit. And after the resignation, in the interview that followed, Carlsen also added another accusation. I have to say, I'm very impressed by Niemann's play, and I think his mentor, Maxim Dlugi, must be doing a great job. And the lawsuit said Maxim Dlugi is not Niemann's coach or mentor, and has no involvement whatsoever with Niemann's training or preparation. So that is a big fact if it is true, because Carlsen connected Maxim and Hans. If there is no connection really, then it was all just to accuse Hans without any reason. And right after this, Nakamura again took to YouTube and Twitch and again accused Hans Niemann of wrongdoing. And then the statement from Carlsen. Carlsen issues a statement explicitly accusing Niemann of cheating against him and confirming his intention to blacklist Niemann from professional chess. This is a big part because this is like a direct accusation from Carlsen. I believe that Niemann has cheated more and more recently than he has publicly admitted. You have to understand, Niemann admitted to cheating in online chess two times, 2012 and 2016. His over-the-board progress has been unusual, and throughout our game in the Sinquefield Cup, I had the impression that he wasn't tense or even fully concentrating on the game in critical positions, while outplaying me as black in a way I think only a handful of players can do. This game contributed to changing my perspective. So Carlsen is basically saying he had a hunch that Niemann cheated during the game in Sinquefield Cup where Niemann defeated Carlsen. But it's just a hunch, there's no evidence. So this is very important, a very important statement by Carlsen, which is included in the lawsuit. And the statement continues from Carlsen: we must do something about cheating. And for my part, I don't want to play against people that have cheated repeatedly in the past. So it's basically saying if Hans Niemann is invited to a tournament, I will not be playing there. So that is really affecting Hans Niemann's future. So you can see that this could go either way. I mean, I'm no legal expert, but there is grounds for this lawsuit to be successful. Now, the next one, Chess.com, Rensch, and Nakamura republished Carlsen's false accusation that Dlugi is Niemann's mentor. So they had leaked the emails between Dlugi and Rensch, or the Chess.com team, in the days that followed, where Dlugi was suspected of cheating and this account was banned. Now, to Niemann's defense, numerous officials and experts confirm that there is no evidence that Niemann cheated against Carlsen or lied about his past online play. So they give examples of Chief Arbiter Chris Bird issuing a statement confirming there was no indication that any player has been playing unfairly in the 2022 Sinquefield Cup. This includes all rounds played to date and a few other examples as well. And also Kenneth Regan, a professor at the University of Buffalo. He had he's basically a famous person when it comes to, basically an expert when it comes to cheating in chess. And he had cleared Hans Niemann. He said that there is no statistical evidence that Niemann cheated in his game against Carlsen or any other time during the past 2+ years. So this is adding to the defense. Now, J, to drown out legitimate sources clearing Niemann of Carlsen's defamatory accusation, Chess.com and Rensch published a defamatory report. If you remember, this was a 72-page report published by Chess.com, which is not much actually. I mean, the content is not much. It is just repeating what they had already known. So I'll add links to this document and to the report and all the links in the description. So feel free to go through that yourself. So this was a report published by Chess.com like a couple of days back before this lawsuit, couple of weeks back, sorry, where they mention that while there is no evidence of wrongdoing, there is still possibility of wrongdoing, possibility of cheating. based on performance and Centipon loss and the unusual rating rise of Hans Niemann. So they include a few statements from this report. While we do not doubt that Hans is a talented player, we note that his results are statistically extraordinary. And a few more of those excerpts. And now K. Defendants' defamatory accusations have destroyed Niemann's life. So basically the result of all of this, which is that Niemann cannot play in tournaments and Niemann cannot work anywhere. So basically ruining his chess life or his life. So they also mentioned that Vincent Kiemer cancelled the event games against Niemann, which was supposed to happen in Germany. Then the Tata Steel tournament, the organizer cancelled any association with Niemann. So it has already affected him, and that is why Niemann demands that there should be a financial retribution. So you can also see here, in a typical year, Niemann could expect to participate in approximately 15 major tournaments, each of which would generate approximately 5,000 to 15,000 in appearance fees, and gives Niemann access to potential cash prizes ranging between 5,000 to 1 lakh. So they calculate the damages cost and the total amount that Niemann should be paid based on this. I mean, they also mentioned that Niemann's streaming career has been destroyed, cannot even obtain employment as a chess teacher at a reputable school. So this is the main part, the second part. After the intro, this is the main part of the lawsuit. And now we come to the last part, which is cause of action. What are the charges levied against the defendants? The first is slander. Slander is basically any spoken statement that defames a person. That's one against all of the defendants. Second is libel, written statements that damages the reputation against all defendants. The third charge is violation of the Sherman Act. So basically, the Sherman Act is an act that ensures that there is economic fairness amongst trusts. So if one trust is taking the full field, the full industry, there is no economic fairness. So this law was set in place so that all the companies had their fair share of the market instead of one company dominating everything. So you can see here the global competitive chess industry, including chess.com and Play Magnus, affects trade or commerce among the several states, including internationally, by operating international chess tournaments with cash prizes within the United States and in other countries. Defendants considered actions to ban and blacklist Niemann constituted improper and unreasonable restraint of trade. So that is the third charge. The fourth charge is tortious interference with contract and business expectancies. So basically, they had cancelled his participation in chess.com Global Championship. And also Tata Steel, one of the main sponsors is chess.com. So the business expectancy and the contract was all cancelled. So that's what the fourth charge is. The fifth is civil conspiracy, that all these defendants colluded to damage the reputation of one person using their power and their reach. So based on all of this, Hans Niemann demands $100 million as compensatory, consequential, and punitive damages, including costs, expenses, and reasonable attorney's fees, including everything. So that is a huge amount, but they believe this is the right amount. And you can see attorneys. So the company that Hans Niemann has hired is Oved and Oved LLP. Darren Oved and Terence Oved. They've made a very thorough document, and this is the end of the document. So it's a very neat and to the point lawsuit, which can even be understood by people who have no real law understanding or any special law degree. I mean, I'm not somebody who's special in laws, but I could understand. It's simple language, and they have divided everything perfectly. So this is a very thorough lawsuit, and it will also get some sympathy from the public. One thing is for sure, the chess world is going to be lit after this. It might take a lot of time for this to be settled, but this is a big blow by Hans Niemann. I mean, he was quiet till now, but then all of a sudden, even though most people didn't expect this to happen, because they would have expected Carlsen and Hikaru to be big authorities and to be careful in what they say and do. This was unexpected, but this is still a big blow to all the entities. Now, will this lawsuit be successful? That I'm not a legal expert, but there is grounds for this to be successful because there is no evidence of Hans cheating in an over-the-board tournament, but all the parties have accused him of cheating in over-the-board tournament. Carlsen has almost directly accused him of cheating in the game against him in Sinquefield Cup. So, would the jury consider that as just speculation or as direct accusations against Hans? That's another thing. But I'm pretty sure that the jury, at least some of the jury, would be sympathetic with Hans Niemann, especially if the jury is not that familiar with chess. Like a chess player would know how bad it is to cheat in a game, and how painful it is for the opponents if they're playing against someone who's cheated. So, but a non-chess player wouldn't know that. So, if this is a jury trial, which is what is expected, in that case, there would be people. Most of them would not be people who play chess, so they wouldn't know the extent of what cheating is, other than what the document says and what both parties say in the court. So there will be sympathy for Hans Niemann, and Hans's reputation is definitely damaged because of all of this. Like, he has been totally hated upon by the general public, most of the general public, and his chances of playing tournaments is very less. Getting invited tournaments is very less because of all this. So his reputation has been damaged. So what is the exact amount that he would get out of this lawsuit? That we do not know, and let us see how in the coming days, weeks, or years, when this will be settled, who will come out on top and how will be the future of Hans Niemann. Again, I have included all the documents in the description. You can have a thorough go through if you would like.